Hey there, you guys. Welcome back. Well, I'm back. Sort of. I'm so busy, and my commute is much longer than it used to be, so I don't have the time to make videos like I used to. But I wanted to share with you what my garden looks like now before it gets too late and I have to start bringing everything in. So things are starting to look okay. It took everything a really long time to get going. Maybe it's because I had to dig things out to add more soil and things were planted late in some instances. Yeah, I don't know. There's so many different reasons that there could be. I think also my soil was a little bit deficient in something because there was a lot of yellowing of annuals, and then I started really throwing the fertilizer to it and they started to green up. And after that point they started to grow really, really well. So anyway, without further ado, let's just go in and have a look at what the gardens look like, and maybe I'll talk about some of the future plans. Hopefully we'll get a fence soon. Hopefully we'll get our deck and patio and all that stuff soon. Everybody's been so busy. We've finally got grade approval and we can do stuff, but now we're waiting on the appropriate trades to have time, because when you call them in the summer and say, hey, I want stuff done now, they don't have time. So we're waiting until the fall, and hopefully things get done very soon. We've got our hot tub on order. The fence guy, well, we're still trying to wait on that. We're doing a concrete edge around our driveway and our front steps and a walkway to the backyard and a back patio and all that jazz. That guy's supposed to be here early September, but we need the fence guy here first. So anyway, it'll all take its time, I guess. Eventually it will get done. So let's go around to the backyard first. I'll show you what's happening there, and yeah, hope you enjoy it. Okay, so this is the walkway between the house, and I've got this little bit of it's going to be a hosta garden. This is a shadier section. So this is the Empress Wu next to a big air conditioner. This was planted later in the spring, so it was already growing, and then I popped it in the ground, and it's doing really, really well. It was grown in a pot for 2 years, so it's a little stunted. Next year it should be bigger, because I remember when I planted it in the pot, the leaves were much bigger than my hand. And as you can see there, it's a big hosta, but it's not gigantic. Over here I have a few hostas. I've got the, I think this is the whiskey sour, and then this is the appletini, and then these are ones that I grew from seed that I collected myself. And some coleus and some trinia. Looking not so bad. Next year it'll look different. Oh, and I have some hellebores growing here. Hopefully they do okay, but not holding my breath. It's very windy, it seems, there, and they broke off. Each time I planted them each twice. I got them for $5 each, so I wasn't too sad, but the wind whips through here and it seems to break them off. Okay, so we dug this garden. It's about 40 feet long, 38 feet long, and about 4 feet wide, and it's all clay. It took us a while to dig, and yeah, it was it was trouble. This is just basically a holding bed for now, and we'll figure things out and we'll move things around, and as the gardens progress, it'll find a new shape. But right now it's just a holding bed that's just a linear form. Over here we've got the deck marked off. We've got the spots for all the posts where they need to come and dig. And we have a gas line here that the patio is going to go here. We're going to have a fire pit with chairs around it, a gas-powered fire pit. So it'll be really, really interesting. I like the wood fire pit. This is our property line. The fence needs to go along here. We're waiting for the people. Everything's ready. So down here, this is a new one. Again, I just recently bought it. It's a Borneo Giant, and then this is the red banana that I grew from Divisions, which many of you have seen the Divisions video. So it's doing really, really well. It got planted really late because I didn't get to this until after our grade was approved, but once it went into the ground, it did so well. It wasn't doing so great in the pot. I've got some plumeria seedlings over here. These are a few years old. You've seen these guys in videos. A regular Colocasia esculenta, not doing so great, but it's doing not too bad. Leaves are very small this year. I love these vincas. They're doing really nice, and the echinaceas that I love the colors. I need to come in and deadhead a few of them. I'm not sure what this is. This is like a silk tree or something. Not silk tree. It's in the mimosa family. A little sensitive plant. It closes up at night and opens up during the day, and it will have the pink bottle brush flowers. I don't know, whenever it matures enough. And then we got the Mayan mask alocasia. It's got all kinds of babies starting at the base. This one took a long time before it started to even have appropriate leaves, but it's come into its own and it's starting to look not so bad. It's got a beautiful purple backside of the leaf. I put my succulents in pots, hanging pots, and put them out here in a mixed container, and hoping they do better than where I had them. I was only able to put them in a shady spot, and they're doing better than they were in the shade. They're not stretching, but it's taken them a long time to readjust. But they're starting to come to, just in time to go in for the winter. I've got all kinds of dahlias. Here's some pretty ones that are in bloom. I think that red is just so stunning. I don't know whether the camera's picking it up so well, but it's really beautiful. Hanging baskets, these were just thrown together. I think that this, what is this, a geum or something? And I believe it's a perennial. I bought it as an annual, so I'm just going to pop I'm going to pop the soil out of the pot and just plunk the whole thing into the ground. And hopefully it comes back. We've got Creeping Jenny in here, which should be a perennial in my zone, so it'll come back and maybe I can pop them back in a pot next spring. This is the Jack's Giant colocasia, and it's doing really, really well. Finally starting to get huge leaves. Put my hand up against here. They're gigantic. It's still small compared to what it says it should be. They say that it should get to be about 6 feet tall. Right now it's probably about 4.5 feet tall. And back and behind here I have a Brugmansia that you can barely see the leaves. I need to cut this leaf off just so that the Brugmansia doesn't get shaded too much. It likes more sun. So yeah, more dahlias and more dahlias. Lots and lots of dahlias. There's a pretty flower in there. Nice peachy color. This is Magnolia grandiflora or grandifolia. I'm not sure. And then this is the Thailand giant. It's not very giant this year. Again, I don't know what happened. The other ones are starting to come into their own. This one's not doing so well. I don't know. I wonder if it was fertilizer or lack thereof. We also had this planted in the ground in small little holes, and then we dug this garden out after, so we did cut roots. So it might be just it trying to reestablish itself. I'm not 100% sure. I've got a Japanese maple back there that I got from a friend. They were redoing their landscape and it just didn't find a home, so trying to keep it alive and have it thrive here. Got another alocasia called Serendipity. It's got a nice crinkly leaf. It's very thick. It was also just a baby, very, very small maybe a month and a half ago, and it's coming into its own and finally starting to put on some growth. We got a big castor bean over here. I am finally allowing the beans or the plant to flower so that we can harvest some beans in the fall, so I can regrow it and not have to pay for the plant. We got the spider lilies underneath, another pot of the same as the other side. Oh, I've got this rickrack cactus, which is in the orchid cactus family group. It was growing inside in the shade and it wasn't doing so well. Then I put it outside in the shade and it didn't do so great, and then I put it in direct sun and it loves it. So next year, lesson learned, I will put it in direct sun and I'll get the fantastic leaves again. I love the feel of it. Hope it blooms at some point. I'll try to give it more light this year as well inside. And over here we've got all kinds of plumeria seedlings at the back. I bought what is this? This is a Eastern Redbud. This is a forest pansy version. It needs a drink right now, but I bought it on sale. I think I bought it for $70, and it looks really, really sad right now. But once it goes in the ground, it will take off again, and yeah, fingers crossed it does well. But we're just waiting for, right here, there's going to be a pad poured for a shed, and then the garden is going to come come along this way, along the shed, and I'm going to plant it beside the shed. So we'll see how it all goes. We've got some Amorphophallus conjax. We have the Portora, Alocasia. It's not doing so well. I might end up tossing the big plant and keeping the babies. I find that the babies have a lot more vigor than the adult plants once they start to develop a trunk. So if you have them and you notice that your leaves aren't getting nearly as big as they once did, and it's not growing as quickly as it once did, sometimes you just need to harvest the babies and get rid of the parent plant, and then you'll get that vigor in the big leaves again. And the Brugmansia, this Brugmansia, it has fallen over multiple times this summer, and it crushed my plumerias, and it wasn't a good scene, so I bungee corded it to the fence. I've got a Trachycarpus fortunae that I'm going to try to overwinter. This year it's going to be in the garage, but next year when it finds a home, I'm going to try to overwinter it in the garden. Because they are hardy to this zone, but they just need a little bit of protection. We've got a Crinum. I've been looking for these for a long time, and finally found some at a garden center, and they were on sale. They were buy one get one free, so I bought two. And it was wonderful, because when I go on eBay, they're about $30 a bulb, and I had to pay $30 for shipping, and I didn't want to do that, so I was able to get one bulb for $13.99, and then buy one get one free. So I ended up getting two for $13.99. So we'll see what this looks like. It's going to be a pink and white stripe. So yeah, let's go into the front yard and see what's happening. Okay, so over by the garage we have the planters, which you've seen many times in the past. We've got the Regal Shields Alocasia. Not sure what these blue flowers are, but they're so pretty. I've grown them in the past, but I can never remember the name, with some petunias and things. Everything has, I think that this one, they're staying too wet, I think. I need to put the pot feed underneath. I think that it's holding on too much moisture. So the Alocasias are doing well, but the petunias aren't. So anyway, this one is finally starting to do really nice. They took so long to establish this year. And same with the banana. The banana took a really long time to take hold. We get a lot of wind here, so there's a lot of tearing of the leaves. And down in the bottom, this is a sweet potato vine that it overwintered in the pot. I didn't plant it this year, and I thought I removed all the sweet potato vines, but I guess I did not. With some creeping jenny and some verbena. I've also got some over under here. You'll see that there's a pretty hibiscus. I'll try to save the hibiscus for over the winter, but they seem to be really big whitefly magnets. And with this size, they're only $5. So if I don't keep it just to keep the bug level down, I might just do that. So over in this side, as you can see, this Regal Shields is not doing as well. It's the exact same planter, but this one just didn't have the same vigor. I bought all kinds of new Colocacias this year. This one, I forget what the name of it is, but it's got a really fun rubbery leaf. And then this is, I think this is Maui Gold or something. I thought they would be the same height, but this one is giant, and then this one seems to be not so big. I have Xanthosoma over here, which is Lime Zinger, I believe. And this is my regular Alocasia macrorrhiza. We've got where we sit over here with the little begonia planter. I've got to go and prune that back again. And we've got the Abutilon. I think it started to go to seed, so it stopped blooming and it stopped doing its thing. I ripped off all the seed pods, and now I'm starting to see bloom spikes again, buds. And then we've got Tridescantia down below. It's got all kinds of buds because it's morning. And let's move around to the other side. Okay, so here we have a mandevilla that we've started to train up some string to get some, we were trying to get a little bit of a windbreak. Actually, the windbreak idea came after the fact. We've only had it on here for about a month, but it's climbing up really well. Next year, I think we're going to get a planter that covers this whole area, and put multiple mandevillas and put some string all the way to the top, and hopefully get a little bit of a windbreak, like I said. But the flowers are pretty, and it grows fairly quickly, and it's just really nice. This is my little bit of succulents and amaryllis. I need to get in here and give it a little bit of a drink, but these succulents are the ones that I had in that big green succulent pot that the other day I just decided to rip apart because it just wasn't looking its best. But I'm hoping that having them grow individually, I can care for them a little bit better, and also put them in places where they can get a little bit more sun. Now they're getting full sun, and they're going to like it. The pot was sitting in a part shade spot because it was a big pot and I didn't have space. And then here is an Amorphophallus. Forgive me if I'm getting this wrong. Penifolia? I don't know. So elephant yam, I think, is a common name. So I'm hoping that this one grows. I bought this one randomly on eBay, and yeah, I have the konjac, and now I have this one. And I was worried that it wasn't going to grow because I bought it last year and it didn't grow, and it just started growing maybe a month and a half ago. So I was very pleased and relieved. So let's go around and look at the front. So this is our beautiful street tree that doesn't really seem to want to grow. It's a linden, and I don't know, it might not make it through the winter. This is all the growth we've gotten this year. It looks really sad. It was planted last fall, and it was cold and there was no leaves, which usually doesn't matter. We did water, but yeah, we had a cold snap. We had an ice storm when things were starting to grow, and a lot of the trees in our area actually bit the dust. A lot of the bark burst off because it was probably, the sap was probably flowing up through the trunk, and then we got a flash freeze for a few days, and it probably just burst everything. So that's the problem. And we've got lots of portulaca down here and some salvia. It's looking really nice. It's actually looking more tired now. It looked nicer about a month ago. But yeah, it still looks not bad. Here is the front garden. Over here, the mums I planted last year, they have come back, and they've stayed really compact, which is really odd. Usually they come back and they're about twice this size, but they're blooming. I really like this color. It's pretty. It's not so fall. It's just nice. Got all kinds of portulaca. Next year it's not going to be all this portulaca. We got all kinds of vinca. Again, not that much next year. I'm not going to plant as many. We've got some catmint. I'm trying to increase the amount of bees in the garden. I've got some painted daisy, some ornamental onion that I got from my friend. I took all kinds of little babies from her flower spikes. This little Japanese maple is looking really nice. I thought it was going to grow slowly, but it's grown like 12 to 14 inches, maybe even more in this season. So it's doing really, really well. More mums. This is the bastard balm. Doesn't look as nice as I thought it would outside of its flower season, but it's kind of a cool plant. And more cat mint. This one is a little bit more wild and woolly than the other one that I just showed you. And then here is Borneo King. This has done really, really well for me this year. It's supposed to get to be about 7 feet tall in a season, but it's gotten, I don't know, what is it? It's probably about 5 feet tall. It's got a new leaf starting, so we'll see how that goes. But this leaf here, I don't know whether you're able to see, but my hand is on it. I don't know what it is. It's probably about 2 feet, maybe a little bit more across. But it's doing all right. Got all kinds of snapdragons below. I was hoping to use these as cuttings and bring them inside to put them in vases, but I've only done that once, maybe twice. And yeah, haven't done it since. And I just enjoy them there. And then we have the agapanthus. I was hoping it would bloom this year, but it's not blooming. It didn't bloom in the pot. It's going to stay out here all winter long, and if it dies, it dies. It hasn't bloomed in years. But if it blooms next year, then that's a bonus, if it even survives. And then we've got a peanut that was planted by the birds, so I'm excited to grow that. I've always wanted to grow a peanut plant, and I didn't even plant this one, so that's wonderful. And then the variegated lily of the valley, it's starting to look really rough. It is almost September. This weekend is the first weekend of September. You're going to see this in September, so yeah, it's everything is just looking a little bit tired. I've moved some of the hostas away because they didn't do so well in the sun. As you can see, they're burning like crazy. After the fence gets put up, I will have shadier spots, but right now everything is in full sun. There's no real shady spots other than that little hosta garden that I showed you, but there was not nearly enough space in there for all of these hostas. These alocasias, these are regal shields. They just started growing on their own. I think from soil changes, there was little baby bulbs in the soil. I don't know whether they were planted last year. These ones I know I planted in the spring or in the early summer. Yeah, I'm going to see if some of them come back next year. And then I've got some salvias, and the zinnias are looking really, really nice. And I've got turtle heads. So pretty. I love the colors of the zinnias. And then we've got this, what is it, stellar pink flowering dogwood. Not sure. I think that's what it's supposed to be. So yeah, everything is coming along. The garden is looking really nice. Some of you might have seen this in an Instagram post. This is coral drops. The beautiful flower of the coral drops. Whoa. Come on. There we go. It's so pretty. And they just on wiry stems. You don't even really see the leaves. The leaves are just like long blades of grass. There's not very many of them. So it's just something that nods off. I'll have to dig these up in the fall. After, I don't know if I'm going to wait till frost or just wait until the flowers are done. But they're looking so pretty. And we had a hummingbird come to one recently. So that's the first hummingbird we've seen here at this house. And hopefully we're going to see a lot more. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this little bit of a tour. And hopefully I see you in some more videos very, very soon. Anyway, until next time, you guys, happy growing.